Hi, this is Cristina.
And Carmen.
This is the Spooky Tales, the podcast for all things spooky, true crime, haunted places, myths, legends in Latin America. This month, only spooky, because we're in costume. So yeah, only scary stories. Today, I'm going to be telling you about the Chupacabras.
Oh.
And specifically because I wanted to talk about the Chupacabras attacking Chile in the year 2000. Because I didn't know that happened.
Me either.
But before we do that, a listener story. And if you want to send us your stories to read on an episode, email spookytales@gmail.com. You can DM us on any of our socials. You can leave it as a comment on TikTok and I will still take it and read it. And yeah, we love receiving them. All the information to get us their stories is in the show notes. Carmen, go ahead.
Alrighty, so this listener story is from Christy Cruz, and I love the alliteration. Hello, my spooky sisters. I really enjoy listening to your podcast, and I would love to share a story of my own. My name is Christy, and back in 1999, when I was just a kid, my family and I lived near Fresno, California. It was me, my parents, my brother, and my tia who all lived under the same roof, which is convenient for my parents because they love to go out dancing Friday or Saturday nights, and they would often ask my tia to look after us. On these nights, my tia would spoil us with junk food and late night movies until we fell asleep before my parents would come home for the night. Sounds amazing.
That sounds so fun.
My brother and I slept in the same room on the same bed, and on the opposite side was my tia's bed with whom we also shared the room. Now, there being 3 people in one room, 2 of them literal children, and the third person being in their late teens, meant that the room was usually littered with dirty clothes or clothes that just hadn't been put away. It had been exactly one of these party nights when in the middle of it, I woke up. I was laying on my side when I noticed movement near the closet. The room was dark except for the hall light coming from below the door, so it took me a while for my eyes to focus on what I was seeing. It was a pair of pants. They were up and moving as if someone was actually wearing them. I saw shirts and other pants up and moving in the same way. They were just iron flat, but moving like they were being worn by invisible people. It's hard to explain just how surreal it seemed, like it was in the middle of a mall with bodies moving about their own business. I was sitting up by this time and I shook my brother awake too. It took him a minute to grasp what was happening, just like me. We didn't move and we didn't speak for another minute, just watched these clothes hover around our room. Then all at once, all of the bodies of clothes turned to face us and floated slowly toward us. What the fuck?
No, that sounds like a horrifying scene from Fantasia.
Suddenly, my brother whipped off the covers, grabbed my arm, and pulled us out of the bed. We raced to the bedroom door, shot out, and quickly closed the door behind us. We stopped to look back. I felt like we had escaped them. You can't open the doors without hands, right? But they didn't need to open the door. The clothes flatly slid out from underneath the door gap and continued toward us. We bolted again, this time headed for our parents' room. We raced in and climbed into their bed, terrified. We pleaded for them to wake up and turn on the lights, but they took a while to come up from their sleep. The clothes had begun peeking into the room. Finally, my mother reached over and turned on the bedside lamp. Light flooded the room, and all at once, the clothes dropped to the floor, right where they had been hovering. My parents hadn't seen anything. They were confused and asked us what we were doing. My brother and I tried to explain, but they said that clothes were always on the floor, and why hadn't my tia been woken up by all this? It was brushed off as a nightmare, and we were only brought back to our bedroom. A year or 2 later, we moved to Texas, except for my tia, who went off to a different state. As I grew up, my mom noticed how much I was interested in watching or learning about ghosts. She said I was just like my tia, but warned me not to play with Ouija boards. She said that my tia used to mess with them back when we lived in California. Well, then that might have explained the nightmare. It's an old memory that both my brother and I share, except he swears he woke up first.
I love that. What a sibling thing to do. Like, no, I woke you up, bitch.
Right. It's like, no, I woke up first.
No.
And then they just end by saying, thank you for reading my spooky tale, and I look forward to your future episodes.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, it feels like a fever dream.
A shared fever dream, though. Ooh, I don't like it.
But yeah, like, why didn't the tia wake up? Maybe because she did cause it.
She was the cause, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. Ugh. But I love the story. I wouldn't like it if it happened to me, I mean.
No, yeah, it'd be weird. It reminds us of that picture our mom sent us where there was a shirt.
Have we talked about that?
I don't think we have. Yeah, but our mom, she sent us videos and pictures. And it was the day she was particularly sad, grieving about her dad or grandpa being passed away. And the shirt, I don't know at what point she noticed or she saw it stand up, but it was like standing straight up.
Yeah, she even called us, like video chatted and like moved the phone around to show that nothing was holding this shirt up. And it's like if someone was either holding it up or like, I mean, because it wasn't the full shape of someone wearing it, but the shirt was standing basically on the bed. So like nothing was holding onto it.
It was still flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like up.
It was so weird. I showed my husband and he's all like, maybe it's starched straight. And I was like, my mom doesn't starch her clothes.
Yeah, she doesn't use starch.
Yeah.
Because if it was starch, that would explain it. But again, she has no starch in the house.
Which is wild. And there's no explanation. Like, what makes a shirt just stand up? And there was other clothes, I think, on the bed. And that was the only one.
That was the only one.
That was just
and it stayed like that. Yeah, it stayed like that all day. And then eventually her husband was like, all right, you can like rest now.
And then the shirt like slumped over.
He was going to touch it to like drop it himself. And it just fell after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but nothing.
And it can't be fake because our mom is technologically inept.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to do that. Neither
she
one
can't
of them.
Even she doesn't know her Apple ID like the TikToks.
She can dance, but she cannot remember her Apple ID.
Yeah.
She's a 10, but she doesn't know how to log into Facebook. No, I think she does, but
I think if she were to log out, she would ask us for help to log back in.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Anyway, yeah, wow, that was crazy. On to the chupacabras. The chupacabras, that's what we're talking about today. I already said it's because I read randomly this tiny little headline when I was searching stories about the Chilean military fighting with the chupacabras in 2000. And I was like,
the Chilean military.
But before we get to that, let's talk about the chupacabras. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, this is not a Mexican legend. It did not originate in Mexico. Because, yeah, a lot of people think that.
Yeah, I used to think that.
Same. But like another Mexican fave of ours, La Llorona, the chupacabra does transcend borders. It is international. There's stories all over Latin America, the US, Spain, the Philippines, China, Russia.
Damn.
There have been chupacabra-like stories for a long, long time, though, even before the 1990s. There's a vampire-like cryptid that sucks blood of animals called El Vampiro de Moca. That was like a vampire-type creature. But yeah, just blood-sucking cryptids or entities have been around for a very long time. But the actual chupacabras, as we know it today, has its origins in Puerto Rico. And sightings were reported for the very first time in 1985. And descriptions of the chupacabra change depending on location. In most of Latin America, it is described as a... Well, actually, before I get into the description, what do you think it looks like, Carmen?
I've always pictured it like it's kind of like a werewolf looking thing, where it has the option to stand on two legs, but can also run on four legs or four, whatever. And like hairy, like a dog, like werewolf, but uglier, like more like monsterish looking. Maybe like flea-ridden, mangy looking, and more not like a werewolf face or dog face, but I've always pictured more like well, like I said, more monster looking, like an alien or something.
Okay, interesting. You have kind of combined both of the different descriptions into one. Well, descriptions of the chupacabra change depending on location. In most of Latin America, it's described as a reptile alien-like being, green or gray, about the size of a small bear with a spiny back. These spiky things go from the back of the head all the way to the tail. And yes, it has a tail. But in most of the Southwest US, it's described more like a dog, mangy, black, again, the size of like a big dog or a wolf or something like that. I personally thought of it as an alien-like creature more than a dog. But both descriptions are super common. In both descriptions, it has sharp nails and like sharp vampire fangs. Sometimes it has wings as well. In both forms, the alien or the dog form, it has wings. And as many of our listeners already know, but the name literally translates to goat sucker. chupacabra or cabras.
Yeah.
Also, some people say chupacabra and other people say chupacabras. Both are not wrong.
I've heard both, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so in March 1995, 8 sheep were discovered dead in Puerto Rico. All 8 were found to have 3 puncture wounds in the chest area and to have been completely drained of blood. And reports like these spread all over the island, mainly began in 2 towns, Morovis and Corovis, both in like the north central part of Puerto Rico, very green and mountainous. And then a few months later, in August 1995, a woman named Madeline Tolentino reported having seen the chupacabras. By this point in time, 150 farm animals and pets had been killed in Canovanas, where she's from, but more all over. And Madeline's account is thought of as the first sighting ever of the chupacabras. So she was in her house in Canovanas. It was the middle of August, and her mom came to wake her up from a nap. She wanted her to come to the window to look at what she had just seen. So they went over together and they stared out the window. And they saw a creature jumping around in their yard. It was about 3 feet tall. This later changes to 4 to 5 feet tall, but her first account said 3 feet. 3 feet tall, standing on 2 legs with dark eyes that protruded, like they stick out. These eyes spread to the sides. Think classic green alien eyes. Its arms were drawn back like it was ready to attack. And these arms that were ready to attack were long. Each hand was made up of 3 skinny fingers. It was covered in short hair like fur and had spikes running down its back. And she and her mom watched it jump away like a kangaroo. So like on its hind legs. Over the next few weeks, 30 other people in Canovanas claimed to have seen the chupacabra swooping down from the sky and jumping from treetop to treetop. Then that November, on the 19th, there was another attack. This time, dozens of turkeys, rabbits, goats, cats, dogs, horses, and cows were dead.
Damn.
And there was nothing to explain it, just mysterious markings like the other chupacabra attacks, the 3 triangle-shaped puncture marks. Also in November, a man saw the creature inside of his house. He claimed that the chupacabras, so this creature, had huge red eyes with hairy arms, and it jumped through the window in his kid's room, and it tore apart a teddy bear and then jumped back out the window.
Why would he do that?
He thought the bear was food. I don't know. Why wouldn't? I don't know. It all happened in seconds, and when the man ran in the room, he saw the chupacabras. It was already gone. And it had left behind a puddle of slime and a single piece of rotten meat on the windowsill.
Where did he get the meat from?
I don't know.
Weird.
Maybe it was just sitting in his mouth and he was like, "Mah," and he just left it on the windowsill.
It accidentally fell out of his mouth as he was running away.
No, he set it down. He's like, this is mine now. Bleh. Yeah. Like marking his territory. He barfed it up right then and there. No, that's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where you just pull that out of your ass, I guess.
The following month, a man named Misael Negron Melandis, a 25-year-old college student, saw the chupacabras on his balcony before it hopped away. Again, like a kangaroo. As the sightings grew, more details about what it looked like began to surface. Its gray hair resembles that of a kangaroo or wolf. It has 3-toed feet, red eyes, sometimes black, smells like a wet dog, and leaves behind the smell of sulfur.
Sulfur?
Mm-hmm. Then it didn't just attack farm animals in the dead of night. Now there were reports of it attacking people, ripping screens off windows, and attacking dogs at family picnics.
Damn.
It's just terrorizing Puerto Rico. By the end of 1995, over 1,000 animal deaths in Puerto Rico were attributed to the chupacabras.
How many deaths?
1,000.
Oh, 1,000 animal deaths. Okay.
Yeah. But sightings slowed down as the following year started. But that was just in Puerto Rico. Everywhere else, animal deaths and attacks were just beginning. In Nayarit, and I want to say this was 96 or 97, I can't remember. But in Nayarit, Mexico, over a dozen farm animals were found dead. And of course, the chupacabra was blamed, though nobody saw it that time. And then just reports blew up. And Al Rojo Vivo did not help.
They spread the chupacabra propaganda. Oh, hysteria.
Propaganda.
I know, I said it weird.
Yeah, I said it wrong. Very, and you weren't even gonna correct it.
No, I wasn't.
No, you weren't.
I was like, whatever.
Wow. Yeah, I don't care.
I'm tired. I don't speak right when I'm tired.
That's true.
Correctly. I don't speak correctly.
Okay. Reports spread all over Mexico, all of Central America, South America, again, Russia, China, the US. And once reports left Latin America, the alien-like description morphed into one that was more dog-like, with possibly the first dog-like description coming from Bexar County, Texas in 2004.
Interesting.
Yeah. Before it was just that alien-looking like reptilian description thing. So Devin McNally was a farmer in Elmendorf when he encountered the strangest thing he would ever see, ever. He heard something outside. When he looked through the window, he saw a dog-like creature, hairless, but with like fangs, spikes on his back, and it was chewing on a tree outside of his mobile home. He ran outside with his shotgun and shot it dead. And they never kept the body. So later he would be like, oh, I regret not keeping it, like to prove that's what he saw. And it's unclear if he was the one who said it was a chupacabra or if someone else did. Someone said it. It spread like wildfire. And soon there was reports all over Texas, all describing a hairless black, like dog thing with huge fangs. Think like an evil Xolontzcuintli, you know, like the dog, the hairless Mexican dog.
A bigger one.
And just like more gross. Those aren't gross to me. They're just like ugly.
Right.
An ugly version of that. In 2007, another person, a woman named Phyllis Canyon, who owns a ranch in Cuero, Texas, also claimed to have seen the chupacabras. She said it was about 40 pounds with big ears, large fangs, hairless, and it was like grayish blue. And before she saw it, a bunch of her chickens had been dying. And she was like, what is killing my chickens? None of them have any blood left. And they all have these 3 like bite marks on their necks. Like, what's happening? And so they attributed it to the chupacabras. And reports like that all over the state were coming out. And that this is where that mangy dog like description comes from. There's even a video that came out from Cuero, Texas from 2008. It went viral. People claimed it was a chupacabras, but the show Faked or Fake Paranormal Files determined that it was either a mangy coyote or wolf or a coyote wolf hybrid. Which I'm like, what? That's a thing? That's crazier than the chupacabras to me.
A wolf.
A wolf. I was trying to think of another way to combine it. Okay. I was like, I don't know what other.
I was like, my brain was working.
I saw your gears turning. Dumb. And so yeah, that's a little bit about the chupacabras in Puerto Rico and the US. So yeah, that was that. Let's talk about one strange sighting from 2000 that happened in Chile. So everything in Chile seemed to have started after this night in Tucapel. On the night of April 14th, 2000, the people of Tucapel saw strange lights moving across the sky. The lights came out of the clouds and then disappeared into the trees. And some of the more curious townspeople went over to where they had seen these lights the next morning, but they saw nothing except dried vegetation that looked like it had been flattened, like something landed on it. They were not sure what to think of this, but in less than 2 weeks after this weird thing they saw, weirder things started happening around the country. So farm worker Jose Ismael Pino was ready to call it a night after a long ass day. It was already 8 p.m. and he had checked with the other workers and they all said that the farm animals were where they were supposed to be, like put away in the barn or behind the gate or whatever.
Right.
And when he looked, he was like, okay, well then tell me why there's a missing bull.
I call bull.
Yes. And then he was like, I guess I got to do it myself. Like if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself, you know. That thing they say. So he walked past the fields and spotted the bull. It was running around. It stopped to graze on some grass, clearly having a great time. And he's like, you son of a bitch, you were there the whole time. I want to go home. So he started walking towards it, but then he saw that the bull seemed to be frozen in fear suddenly out of nowhere. And wondering what could be scaring the bull, he looked in the same direction as it. And that's when he saw a bipedal creature with large pointy fangs. It seemed like a big monkey to him. It had black fingernails, large golden luminous eyes, and dark leathery wings on its back.
Wow. And you know what? It kind of, these descriptions also make me think kind of like of the Mothman.
Yeah, right. And you know what? There was a lot of Mothman stories from Chile.
Oh,
Or
interesting.
was it Argentina? It also makes me think of a gargoyle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. And there was also a strong, musty odor. He ran back as fast as he could. He's like, nah.
Nah.
Nah. And he ran back and released the hounds. He released the dogs, hoping they would scare off whatever this was. And the next morning, one of the dogs returned.
Oh, no.
With a blood-stained neck, but alive. And whatever it was seemed to have left. But that same morning, there were reports of dead sheep on 2 nearby farms. And they, like the other sightings, were drains of blood and had punctures on their necks. Over the next month, reports continued. On May 3rd, 2000, at 1:30 a.m., Professor Liliana Romero Castillo was sleeping in her apartment in Laguna Redonda in Concepcion when she was suddenly woken up by the barking of some dogs, puppies that were living with her. Well, in the back of her house. And she also had a large, fierce mastiff. And so they were all barking. And she looked at what they could possibly be barking at. They were all cowered, including her giant mastiff that shouldn't be scared of many things. Mm-hmm. So they were all cowered against the wall, barking, crying, seeking help, I guess. And she saw what appeared to be a huge man standing more than 2 meters, so 6 feet, 8 inches tall. And the shoulder blades were split as if it had wings. She woke her husband up thinking, oh my God, it's like a person like out there.
It's a man with wings.
He was like, I'm not getting up. I'm tired.
Damn.
I'm sleeping. But then when she returned to the window, it was gone.
Oh.
The next day, her kids went out to buy some groceries and they used a shortcut that went behind their building. When they returned home and used this shortcut, they said they had seen a dead dog in the alleyway. She told her husband to go check, and this time he did. And he said that it was a woolly beige colored dog lying on the ground with 2 puncture marks in the neck. The 2 puncture wounds were apparently the size of a beak pen, and they were separated, like there was 5 centimeters between them, so like 2 fangs, basically the space of 2 fangs. The body of this dog was completely bloodless and light as a feather, and so they attributed this to the chupacabras. A team of carabineros, so like the military, or not the military, the police, arrived at the where all this took
I've
place.
learned about the carabineros.
Yeah, they don't have a good rap, especially during the Pinochet regime.
That's when I learned about them.
Same. Anyway, a team of carabineros doing their normal job.
Chupacabra duties.
Yes. They went and they took custody of this dog. They put it in a large plastic bag, and then they ordered the family to remain silent so that they wouldn't panic the town. Liliana was like, no, I'm scared. I have young kids. I'm afraid that thing will come back. And so, I don't know, word of the spread. Of course. They took the dead dog to their like forensic lab or whatever, and it was autopsied by pathologists. But I don't know what became of that autopsy. Like there was never any report. But that same day, there was a reports of 35 dead birds on a ranch 12 kilometers away from where this happened. The family that saw the thing. And this was in Pucón on the road leading to the village of Caburuga. And yeah, same description as before. Puncture wounds, no blood in any of these dead animals. But this time they have like cuts all over their bodies, which I think other descriptions lack. So that's interesting.
Yeah, different.
But it was attributed to the chupacabras either way. Then, a few days after that, in Santa Elena de Codao at 11 p.m., so 33-year-old Alejandro Canales was returning back to his home after guarding his rabbit pens. As he took a shortcut through an unlit alley, he felt something fall on his back. He struggled with this thing that fell on him, and he managed to shine a flashlight on him. And he was stunned when he saw
the man was stunned.
Yes. A short ape-like creature with large pointy fangs, black fingernails, large golden luminous eyes, and dark leathery wings on its back.
Interesting because other descriptions say it's tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like the one before said it was tall. And now it's in Chile, reports of it is that it's
short.
That it's ape-like.
Yeah.
But in other places it was like not ape-like. So
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, he also smelled like a strong musty odor during this. The creature quickly ran away, disappeared into the darkness. He was screaming like crazy. Other people found him screaming in a state of shock, and they found deep scratches on his back. Well, all of his body. But yeah, this would be then the first chupacabra attack of a person. Then in Tocopilla and Los Arenales, Sierra Gorda, Chile. This is now May 25th, 26th of that same year, 2000. So it was nighttime. Local residents heard strange howling and screeching noises in the area. And at the same time that they heard that screeching, there was a bunch of domesticated rabbits that were found dead and again completely empty of blood. No blood in them. And then someone else on Magallanes Street saw a strange humanoid with large bright yellowish eyes that apparently had like a hypnotic effect on him, which has not been reported.
This is like the first description of that.
Yeah. And another person saw a similar thing standing on top of some rocks. The next night, a young couple was parked in an isolated area making out. What else do people do when they're parked in isolated areas?
Right.
When suddenly, a humanoid figure covered with hair and large, luminous, reddish, yellowish eyes.
Different,
appeared.
but always luminous. Okay, like...
always bright eyes. Okay, bright eyes.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
It appeared in front of the vehicle, and the woman in the couple apparently received a telepathic message from this chupacabras, which now this is like, I've never heard of this before.
But it kind of lines up with the hypnotic effect a little bit.
Right. This must be some evolved chupacabras, honestly, because it wasn't doing this in Puerto Rico.
It gets stronger as it goes to more and more countries.
You know what? I think so. Anyway, it was telling her to open the car door and step outside. And she was like, okay. She was getting ready to open the door when suddenly she realized what she was doing. And then panicked. They attempted to start the vehicle to leave, but like they couldn't move. They were just frozen. Eventually, they were able to move and drive away. And the thing never like attacked the car, like jumped on the car or anything. But just this whole being frozen is weird.
Yeah, a little trippy.
I don't like that Chupacabra suddenly has these powers.
When did that happen?
He's not allowed to do that. And so by now, federal law enforcement had no choice but to get involved. They began to show up whenever reports were being made, like earlier with that professor, how they showed up and took the dog and then were like, don't tell anybody, but she told everybody.
Right.
Same thing. So then May turned into June and the attacks did not stop. And now in June, in Baquedano, Chile, when he heard his dogs barking like crazy, a security guard, Luis Alberto Calibar, grabbed a flashlight and a knife and went out there to investigate, like, why are they barking? And suddenly the dogs became very, very still, as if frozen in fear. When he, flashed around his flashlight or whatever you do with flashlights, he saw a thing that was dark green that ran very quickly from like tree to tree, and he felt a numbness overcome his body. He dropped the flashlight and the knife because he was not just numb but cold and numb, like something was making him do this.
Okay, that's new also.
Right. I don't like this, like these new powers.
It's like evolved. Yeah,
it's horrible. He managed to run back into his security shack, and the dogs ran with him and they hid with him. Good. They were shaking in fear. And he described the creature as having large flopping ears, fluid in nature, without a bone structure.
Okay, that's different too.
That gave it the appearance of a flexible mass that moved around like a kangaroo.
But without bones?
Yeah.
Like a noodly, wavy kangaroo?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it moved around silently, and it was about 1.30 meters in height. What is that?
1.30.
Oh, this would match with the previous descriptions. That's 4 feet.
See, I was right. I know a little bit.
Yeah, I don't. You were right. You were right.
Well,
4 feet and what? 3 inches? Yeah. So 4 feet, 3 inches tall. And when he first saw it, it appeared to have been crouching down behind a bush. And then it just started moving around, like jumping from place to place. But when he saw it behind the bush, it seemed to have twisted its body and never looked straight at him.
That's weird.
Yeah. He didn't describe the weird odor other people describe. He also said he wasn't scared. He felt no fear, but I mean, if you're like frozen, like, please, okay. He's just trying to be brave.
Okay.
The encounter lasted about 5 minutes, and it was about 9 meters. They love their meters. Let me check what that is in feet.
30 feet.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
And he said the creature was about 9 meters or 30 feet away from him.
30 feet?
Yeah.
I just guessed that right. Oh my God.
Oh, I thought you looked it up, bitch.
No.
Oh shit, dude, 29.6 feet.
Oh my God. Am I a math whiz or what?
Okay, Miss Genius over there. So yeah, almost 30 feet away. Carmen was right. He also said it had like greenish hair that was 5 to 6 centimeters
That's new
long.
also.
Yeah. Although there are descriptions of it being greenish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And even though he said he wasn't scared or he felt no fear,
he shit his pants.
No, but after the encounter, he went to see a doctor and he had lost about 20 pounds.
I mean, how could you not be scared? Like, it's completely normal to be scared.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so, like I said earlier, the National Police became involved in these investigations, but that wasn't enough either. And now the military was also investigating and looking for this thing, or things, plural.
Could be more than one, yeah. It has to be. With all this jet setting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so there are accounts of this from more than one person. I just wrote down the one from reporter Marcial Campos Massa, but there's other accounts that tell almost the same thing.
Okay.
But sometime in June, a platoon of soldiers were deployed to capture the Chupacabras. The unit...
No, I just thought that was
thought you were going to say something else. Okay.
I just imagine being on that like detail or that like mission. Like, that's crazy.
I would have been like, sorry, I have to look for what?
What now?
You want me to do what? The unit was searching the desert near a mine north of Calama. And if you recall, Calama was one of the sightings I just shared. And so when they were in the mine, they allegedly encountered 3 chupacabras. They opened fire on the creatures. And during the attempt to capture them, 1 soldier died.
Oh, wow.
But they did it. They captured 1 male, 1 female, and 1 juvenile.
Baby.
Yes, chupacabra. Not the baby. And the Chilean military has never discussed this matter. But according to not just this reporter, there's more reports. Mm-hmm. Again, this is just the only one I wrote down. There was more.
There's more chupacabras.
There's more to this.
Oh.
Yeah. More chupacabras and more to this.
Oh, okay.
Yes. 2 days after this occurrence, another soldier saw a short, hairy creature that could jump a great distance. And then he saw it soar, like it jumped up and soared because it had like a pair of wings.
That was
like
la
a flying
abuela.
Squirrel. What?
That was la abuela. Abuela Chupacabra, since they found the mom, the dad, and the baby.
Yeah. I was like, what do you mean? I forgot there was a family of Chupacabras involved.
Wow, really ruined my joke.
No, it just like flew past me. Like the Chupacabras.
I like that.
Anyway, the soldier ran back to the commanding officer to tell him what he had seen. And then another patrol was sent out to search for this creature. And then this squad came across eggs in a pit.
Eggs? I was picturing like a mammal.
Yeah, apparently it lays eggs. They took these eggs back to the base, and at the same time that this happened, another squad that was also patrolling got into a firefight with another chupacabra. This is the abuelo. Oh, sorry. So they killed 2 chupacabras in this occurrence, and then they captured a third one. So this is a tío. Just a whole family, extended family of chupacabras. So they killed 2 and they captured a 3rd one and they took it back to their base. So now, allegedly, they have 4 chupacabras and eggs in their custody. But apparently, NASA was also interested. And allegedly, a couple days after the capture of these chupacabras and the eggs, 2 Boeing 767 cargo planes landed at the Santiago Arturo Merino Benitez Airport. And these containers inside these cargo planes were marked, or there was containers inside the cargo planes that were marked with like a NASA logo. And then it had top secret. No, I just had that. And then from this airport, a team exited this cargo plane and they entered a helicopter and then went to the base. And the local airport was shut down. Like there's reports of people being angry about the airport being shut down. Like
they're like, what the fuck? I can't catch my flight.
Exactly. And it was never confirmed why it was shut down, but people think now that it has to do with NASA landing on the base. Yes, and taking the chupacabras and the eggs.
Oh.
I will add here that the other reports of this happening don't say anything about eggs.
Oh.
The one I'm sharing is the only one that mentions the eggs, so that's where they differ.
Okay.
Residents of Calama and nearby communities blamed, well, after all this happened, the residents of Calama and basically all of Chile began to blame NASA for the apparitions and attacks.
Why?
Because they believed, some residents believe, that the chupacabras was a result of a diabolical genetic experiment gone wrong, done by NASA or some other U.S. agency.
Oh, because it came to get them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. One respected Chilean architect who was quoted saying the following, but I don't know his name because the thing I read didn't have his name.
Just some respected architect.
Yeah. He said, quote, "The gringos had at least 3 genetic experiments run away from them," end quote. I don't know how he knew that, but that's what he said.
Had, insider information.
And you know what? I believe him. No, I don't know. So speaking of this, like someone believing that it was the U.S. who created the chupacabra, people have said this about Puerto Rico too, because there was a military base not far from where Madeline first reported seeing it. So some people believe this theory of it having been an experiment gone wrong.
I think it makes sense to have that theory.
Honestly, after all the things that they've done, I mean, we learned last episode that they faked legends and myths to scare away communists, and so nothing is far-fetched anymore. And for those that do believe this theory, they're not swayed when NASA is like, no, this isn't true, because if it did happen, why would they tell us?
Right.
Like, why would they admit or not admit it? Like, you know, so either way, it doesn't like help them.
Right. Either way, they believe the conspiracy.
Yes. So that's one theory on the chupacabra. Now we're going into theories of what the chupacabra is. Those are the sightings of Chile, and that was the Chile attack. Anything to say before we go into the theories?
No.
Okay, so that was one debunking theory of the chupacabra, or one theory explaining the chupacabra, that it is an experiment gone wrong by the U.S. Sometimes the agency changes, but like in Chile, it was NASA. Sometimes it's the military. So another debunking theory, there's a book called Tracking the Chupacabra, the Vampire Beast in Fact, Fiction, or Folklore by Benjamin Radford. And this provides a ton of evidence that basically says all the attacks reported in Puerto Rico and like the US are just coyote attacks. None of the animals that had been said to have their blood gone
actually had their blood gone.
Yeah, it was still there. It's just that sometimes when like things die, people die, animals die, the blood pools at the bottom.
Oh, right.
And makes this effect of there not being any. And that's what he's explaining this as. And one thing that he was the one who I think first wrote down, he went and talked to Madeline, the person who saw the first sighting. And he discovered that she had just seen the 1995 movie Species,
Oh, I've heard of this.
She watched this movie, and when you look at side-by-side pictures, I'll post them on
It fits her
Instagram and in the
description.
video. Yeah, it looks pretty alike. They both have spikes running along their back, a long face, bipedal, long skinny fingers, wide alien eyes. Like, yeah, this looks like it for sure. And yeah, she had just seen the movie before she saw what she saw.
Yeah. She was just scared from the movie and then spread this rumor.
Yeah, something. That's another way that this has been debunked.
Yeah.
And then there's another theory. Well, okay, so that explains Puerto Rico and almost all of Latin America. That it looks like the creature from species. The other one from the Texas sightings and U.S. sightings, where it looks more like a dog, that has been explained as like literally it's the coyote, wolf, or a hybrid of the two creatures. So that's how that was debunked. There's another theory out there that the chupacabras is real, but it's actually an alien. And there is a ton of reports of sightings that have also like been preceded by a UFO sighting, which would be the case in Chile as well. Like people saw a weird light and then all the attacks happened. And that's not the only place. Like in El Yunque, the Yunque area of Puerto Rico, there's a bunch of alien sightings, but there was also in the 1990s a bunch of chupacabra sightings in the same area. And a lot of times people saw like what would they consider a UFO before the chupacabra allegedly attacked something. So yeah, those are the explanations. And yeah, that was the chupacabras.
Well, what theory do you believe?
Well, the part of me that believes in the paranormal wants to believe the alien part. The logical part of me that is a little less, but it's there. It would be that she did see species and saw something.
Yeah.
That could have been something else, but she saw the creature from species in whatever that night. That's what either one of those.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like people want to force everything to be an alien. So I don't like that theory.
True. Okay.
I think that if it's not real, then it's the main G coyote theory.
Okay. Yeah. The other one I would choose if I hadn't already chosen.
The experiment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love an experiment
like
story, you know?
Yeah.
Someone should write, not me because I can't write, but someone should write that.
Yeah.
And really, in the end, the chupacabra, all he needed was love and acceptance.
Like a Frankenstein retelling, but it's chupacabra from the experiment. Right?
You know what? Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, that was our topic. We will take a break and come back with spooky recommendations. And we're back. Do you have any spooky recommendations?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. What are you reading?
Well, I finished Junie. I've been reading the Border Patrol book. I even took a break from the Possession of Alma Diaz. Also, we have both finished The Bewitching.
Oh, yeah. Should we send out discussion questions for it?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see have I finished anything else? Yeah. So I've been reading the Border Patrol History book. And I'm currently, I did finish a horror book. I was like, I know I listened to something else after Junie. I just finished listening, not finished, a few days ago. I finished listening to Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark. And it's like a novella. So audiobook is only 5 hours and 36 minutes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I don't know how long it actually is, but novellas tend to be pretty short.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I found it because I think I saw it like some social media. Like it's like, if you liked Sinners, you will like these books. And that's where I first seen it. But let me just read the description real quick. In America, demons wear white hoods. In 1915, the birth of a nation cast a spell across America, swelling the clan's ranks and drinking deep from the darkest thoughts of white folk. All across the nation, they ride, spreading fear and violence among the vulnerable. They plan to bring hell to earth, but even Ku Kluxes can die. Standing in their way is Maurice Bordeaux and her fellow resistance fighters, a foul-mouthed sharpshooter and a Harlem hellfighter. Armed with a blade, bullet, and bomb, they hunt their hunters and send the clan's demons straight to hell. But something awful's brewing in Macon. I don't know how to say it. And I did it last time.
Yeah.
And the war on hell is about to heat up. Can Maurice stop the clan before it ends the world? So it's like historical fiction, horror, fantasy type. where the KKK, they're like demons or monsters, and the Ku Kluxes are like KKK members who have turned into these like demon monster things. So they're like even worse than normal KKK members.
Wow, that's horrifying.
They're like KKK or Ku Klux hunters, and it was interesting. It was entertaining. I will say I might have. Well, the audio book was good because the narrator is really good at like different accents and doing different voices for the characters. But sometimes when too much is going on, I have a hard time following and then I have to rewind audiobooks. Like I think some people have an ear for audiobooks. I have to try really hard with audiobooks. Like
that's me with reading.
Well, that's me with audiobooks then. And so I feel like, and almost with everything, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have read it, but who has the time to read books? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listening is so much faster. Plus, I like to listen when I'm walking, whatever, doing other stuff. So I don't know. It was good. It was really good. I have seen some people that are like, oh, but depicting the KKK as monsters takes away from their, you know, like the actual human monstrosity. And I'm like, it's a horror book. Shut up.
What's a historical fiction horror book?
Right. Yeah. And they still talk about the realities of the KKK. They're not saying like, oh, they're just monsters, so it's okay that they act like this, because they're not. You know what I mean? They still, they talk about the racism. They talk about like everything in the book. So it's not like excusing the KKK as monsters to me. That's not how I took it.
No, I agree. Yeah. I haven't read it, but I feel like as human beings here in 2025, we should know how horrible they are already without having to be like, well, we need to talk about how really horrible they are instead of making them actual monsters. And it's like, we already know. What do you mean? How do you not know by now? And
I like the tie-in with the Birth of a Nation, like casting a spell over, because we know the Birth of the Nation
revived the KKK.
And so I don't. It was like a tie-in with these horror and fantastical aspects that I don't know. I really like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I love speculative fiction take on a real life thing, and that's what this is.
Because it doesn't minimize and take away to me.
No, it's another what am I looking for?
Like perspective, maybe?
Yeah, another way to talk about these things.
Yeah.
But then you get to change the narrative and the story and maybe make it into something else. And so, I don't see that. I don't see that at all.
I thought it was really good. I think you'll like it, and I think people would enjoy it.
All right. I still have yet to request it, so I need to do it before the hold list gets even longer.
I can't believe you get that many holds.
Yeah, it's great. I have a spooky recommendation. I was trying to think if I had two or not. Well, one is not spooky, but it is a thriller crime type book that I'm still reading. But so far, it's so good, I can't imagine that I'm not going to recommend it. But Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby.
I've heard good things about it.
I'm like almost done with it now. I started it yesterday, and that's like literally all I've been listening to. It's so good. I'm not going to say anything else because I'm going to give it its own little section on the next recommendation. But I have been reading that, and I've been loving it. And then my actual spooky recommendation, I would recommend it to a certain person, not to everyone. If you like a bleak, slow burn. I was like, what is the word I'm looking for? My bad. If you like a bleak, slow burn that is just like terrible and there's nothing good at the end. Yeah, but I might be too slow for you.
Oh.
It might be like you're going to be like, nothing happened.
But it's a movie?
Nothing happened, but everything happened. Yes, it's a movie. It's called Somos Lo Que Hay. There is a US version of this. I want to say it's US version. We Are What We Are.
Really?
US version. It was like a remake, which some people say is better, some people say it's worse. I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But Somos Lo Que Hay is set in, I want to say, Ciudad Mexico, and there's cannibalism involved.
Okay.
Basically, a family loses the father, and now that the father is gone, they have to scramble to figure out who is in charge of the family, because they have to do this ritual that involves cannibalism, or they will die, or they think they will die.
Oh.
That's what these kids have been told.
Damn.
And the ritual does involve cannibalism.
Oh.
And you just go through this movie following this family, trying to figure it out. But it's bleak. It's bleak because it's like, obviously, like even like Ring Shao, horror is used as a tool to comment things that have happened or society. And it's a great tool for that. It's a great way to do that. One might say the best way to do that.
One would agree. Me.
Yes. And so this movie is using this premise to talk about the like underbelly of society, the poor, the homeless, sex workers, the corruption of the police within Mexico, and how when these things are left ignored, they're just gonna like eat each other alive, quite literally, because of the cannibalism aspect in the movie. You see what I did there? So yeah, that part of it was interesting. I wouldn't say it was like perfect. Like no movie, I mean, some movies are like Sinners to me. Sinners is a 5 out of 5. I would rate this one like a 3.5 out of 5, but it's worth watching. It's again, if you're okay with the bleak slowness of the movie, because it takes a while for things to start going, which I'm okay with. But like, I think that like you didn't like Huesera. I don't think you would like this movie.
Huesera was dumb.
Again.
I feel like I like a slow burn in books more than movies because I can't sit there watching. For some reason, I don't know. That one was so slow though. You're right. Maybe I wouldn't like it.
Yeah,
I don't do a book version of it.
I don't think you would like this one, but someone out there might. Which is why I'm like, I have to mention that it is very slow and bleak. But yeah, it was. I was like, wow, that was good when I was done.
Wow.
So. Yeah, wow. I've been trying to check out way more Mexican horror.
I see that.
I've literally only been renting Mexican horror, so
nice.
I've got a list going. Next, I'm gonna check out The Untamed. But yeah, that's my spooky recommendation. Somos lo que hay.
Nice.
And I will make a separate video about it. Okay, yeah. Other than that, don't forget that you can catch us in Yakima
in vivo.
At the event. The Cucuy is going to get you with Jonathan Perez from Latinos Against Spooky Shit. It's going to be awesome. We're going to tell some scary stories. We're going to talk about ourselves.
We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited to see anyone who's there, really. But, even if you're some hours away, make that drive. Go see us. The information is in the show notes. And yeah, stay spooky. We'll catch everyone next time. Bye.
Bye.